Hello everyone and welcome to Moon Ride. This is Dave Johnson. I'm channeling the man in the moon today. I'm really going to take a look here at the war. That's pretty much our biggest question at this time. Just get right to it. All right, so Spirit, what's going to happen in Iran? All right, I'll just tell you what I'm seeing. I'm seeing some kind of rocket propelling towards what looks like Iran. I'm gonna say the rocket deviates. It's like it's gonna hit and then it goes up into the air. So this it seems more symbolic than literal. There's some deflection going on here. Okay, there's Trump in the Oval Office. He's bloviating. He's puffing and puffing. He's yelling at everyone. There's this interesting sort of feeling. It's a little bit different than before, where I'm seeing the faces of the people within the Oval Office. And they've always been, oh God, he's a lunatic, he's crazy, he's just a front guy. Just, put up with him while we steal as much money as we can or get positions that we want. But there's a feeling of those faces, men and women that I'm looking around, of actual, like it's starting to verge on disgust. It's not there yet, but certainly worry about the country, a worry about just their own situation and their own position. Trump's not going to live that much longer, right? He's 79. These people, they might live throughout another couple of administrations. They're going to have to answer for this. And I think they're just literally worried about the planet. They're like, look, this guy's a lunatic. They can see face to face. They're not watching Fox News. Yeah, like they're biting their nails worried. And there's some degree of selfishness in these worried faces. There's a little degree of, I don't, he really is crazy enough to press the button. And I'm just going to focus on one of those faces. And there's that woman who's, director of something or other who works closely with Donald Trump. She released, I don't know what her name is, she released some kind of information. I think she's the lady with breast cancer. And it's interesting that it would be her, isn't it? Because she's a woman and she's facing death. So it's a little bit like, women generally are more generative, okay? They're not attack, attack, attack. And so there's a little bit of what about my legacy, or do I really want to leave the planet this way? And her conscience is affecting her. So I'm just going to take a look at her face and be like, what are you going to do? She's rolling her eyes. She's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I usually know what to do. I'm in this position as to know something. But, okay, I'm not sure if y'all can hear it, but the birds are having a little fight over here. It often happens that nature will reflect what's going on here. But, so I'm not sure what this means. It's like I'm seeing a planet split in half. It is like the two emerging planets, but it's also just two halves. She's just like divided. So what, can you tell me more? What are you gonna do? She is getting to the point where she's appalled, and it's almost like she's giving up on Trump, and she's ready to make a shift. It seems existential. We could all die. But it also seems like it could be just, even her conscience is starting to kick in. It's, when people are facing the end of their lives, people who aren't necessarily the most, awesome people, She's, is facing, oh, I'm going to meet my maker. What am I going to tell him? So what are you going to tell him? What are you going to do? I get making plans. I think that they are, I've seen this before. They're making plans to remove him. It's not yet certain whether they will execute on the plans, but she's starting to talk to people and say, we have a responsibility here. Use these ambiguous terms and see how people respond. She's going to some serious conservative type people and saying, we might have to reconsider, all right? And that's not badly received. Ron Johnson, one of my least favorite senators, is actually opposing Trump on this Iran situation. And he's not alone. There are others who are thinking this, but they don't yet have an absolute plan to do anything. But they're starting to think 25th Amendment. All right, I'm seeing a scientist. He's mixing up a brew. And it feels like, hey, we'll knock Trump out, put him in a hospital, and then say, oh, sorry, you're too unwell. It just has a feeling of some kind of medical, chemical. Yeah, the scientist is holding up its beaker. It's very secret. You just inject with a needle. All right, so I'm seeing them do this. Again, I'm not certain this is going to happen, but I think they are considering this. I think it is a very real possibility. And I think it's important that they are considering this. There is more than one option of how to handle this, but this is one that's being considered. You just, stick them in the arm one day. Almost anyone can do it. You just make sure Stephen Miller's not in the room. There are soldiers there, people in uniform who would help perform this. They've been sent there to keep an eye on Trump. That is, they want to use Trump for their own purposes, but at some point, they need a way out, because Trump's not doing what he's supposed to do. Yeah, hospital, he's going into a gurney. He wakes up, Melania's there. And I kind of get the feeling Melania's there to tell him, look, man, you're not leaving. You're going to stay right here in this hospital. She's kind of performing as an agent for, I'm going to say, reasonably benevolent forces. Maybe she is symbolic, but she's there to sort of soften the blow there. Like, nope, you're not going there. You're not going to go back. Even members of his own family are considering this. I'd say Kushner is definitely considering this. And there are other countries like Saudi Arabia who would want this to happen. They do not want a nuclear bomb in the Middle East. These are powerful and rich people who give a lot of money to the West. And they'd be willing to give a lot more money to the West if it goes the way that they want. Trump is alone. They're not finding support anywhere except on, Fox News and OAN. There are no real supporters. There are people who pretend. So Spirit, one more time, are we going to avoid this? Just barely. Just barely. It seems like it's like, you know, the bomb swoops 10 feet above the ground. And then stuff will really kind of go crazy in a sense that everything that is Trumpian starts to collapse. In the United States, just it's like everything is collapsing in a state of rage and collapse. You know, the economy isn't going to boom back the day that Trump disappears. The crises that are happening all over the planet economically. Living in Australia can tell you just, you know, the prices are skyrocketing. No one knows. No one knows what's going to happen tomorrow. You know, should I buy a car? Should I not buy a car? It's like my personal question is every day I don't really want a car, but I might have to have one. And I just every day I'm like, what if there's no gas? So how can anybody's economy work in this place? It's just, in some sense, I want to point a good picture. It's all going to break apart, and it's going to suck for us that it's breaking apart. But it's better that it's breaking apart now, and that it can come back together. And heroes are made in this. The people who are the heroic ones are the sensible, persuasive ones that can say, look, the structure, the society that we have isn't working anymore. They can also use things like the Epstein files to go after the Epstein class of people. This is a terrible, nerve-wracking experience, but I think it is almost like what had to happen in order for this new world to show up. And I really do think that there is a split, as Dolores Cannon has said. It's all gotta come, it's all gotta collapse. Spirit, what does this mean for us, and how can we handle it? Because I'm freaking out. Everybody I know is freaking out. Understand what's going on. It is not the end, it is just a split. It will mean a different world. It will mean you shift away from an old way of thinking that is perhaps tied to, you know, the whole capitalism is perfect model, right? And this is a new find happiness within yourself model. You know, I've often thought of this. You know, when I was really poor, was I happier? When I had some money, was I happier? You know, there were benefits to both sides. I don't want to say just like, oh, enjoy your poverty. That's not what I mean at all. But I do mean that somehow in this time you are able to find hidden resources that go beyond the monetary. And if you can make that shift, I can make that shift. We're going to be the winners. You can never take away personal insight. You can never take away the wonderful friendships that we are making now. You can never take away the understanding of why there is this fall. And that is true wealth. It will serve you. It will serve your soul. You can't take that money with you to the other side. And I'm seeing just a lot of compassion. You know, I even have compassion for those who were led astray. All of us have been led astray. Right. The other advice is, you know, go to nature. And I often tell people this. I finally took my own advice last week. I just went to the forest for 4 days and I did not do anything at all except meditate and do some shamanic work. And I tell you, man, I came back a different person. It's like all of a sudden, all the optimism that had left me came back, and I felt the sense of abundance. However you can do this, whether it means shutting off machines for a couple of days, going and meeting with like-minded people, everybody could use this rejuvenation. Remember, watching these events is going to trigger you in certain ways, and you do want to be aware of all these things that are happening. At the same time, can you use that and transform it into gold? Can you make the stress and all this stuff and animosity and anger, whatever, can you change that and make that into something? You can do that. You have the power. In some sense, the universe wants to give you the power, even if it means you're skimping on some things, even if it means you have to ask for help. You can transfer this. No one can stop you. And in that sense, the universe is showing you love. It's giving you the experiences so that you can move into a new place of self sufficiency, of understanding. This is not an easy lesson, and I don't want to imply that it's an easy lesson. I'm working on this every day. But don't let Donald Trump take your power away. Don't let the media that is manipulating you take away your ability to make changes in your own life and the lives of others. And remember that a lot of this is just exploitation, right? We're going to make a fake war and oil companies are going to make lots of money. All right, if that's their game and we cannot change it now, all right. But there's a whole level of awareness and selfhood and becoming you that no one can take away. I'm just shown a very beautiful image, and that is a beautiful image of just a rising. I would say this figure looks ambiguous, gender ambiguous, but it has an aspect of feminine as well. And it's like, uh, who's that lady? Carmen Miranda, who has all the fruit on her head. It's like just like abundant lady, right? And non-specific lady and multicultural lady and lots of fruit and vegetables and organic food everywhere and flowers. It will be helpful if you find that. Just sit and meditate and ask for a vision of abundance so that we can sort of project ourselves into a brighter future. This will, I think, be very helpful. Find your own peace right now. You're not going to get it from the media. You might get it from some groups. You might get it from other individuals, and you can absolutely find it in yourself. Thanks so much for watching.